Good morning, students. This is 11th standard botany video class, video 3. In this video, we are going to continue the lesson plant growth and development. Dear students, the last video class we have seen what is photoperiodism, long day plant, short day plant, day neutral plant, what is photoperiodic induction, phytochrome and their two interconvertible forms. Now, we are going to see another important topic, vernalization. The word vernal, which means spring-like, that means instead of photoperiod, certain plants which are placing the low temperature, they are producing the flowers. That process is known as vernalization. So in the previous video class also, we have seen the two process which is responsible for flowering in all the plants and trees. One is the photoperiodism, another one is the vernalization. Photoperiodism means it requires light. Vernalization means temperature. So, if you are placing the plants in a low temperature, the plants which are started to produce flowering is known as vernalization. For example, many species of biennials and perennials which is exposed to the low temperature, that is 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, is a very important 1 mark question. That process is called vernalization. See the definition. Many species of biennials. Biennials means plants which completing their life cycle within 2 years. First year they are produce vegetative organ. Second year they are produce reproductive organ. And perennials, that means plants which are showing their life cycle more than 2 years, is known as perennials. They are induced to flower at low temperature, that is 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, is known as vernalization. Dear students, you must write the temperature ratio, that is 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. The term vernalization was coined by T.D. Lysenko. Is a very important 1 mark question in the year 1938. Now, we are going to see the mechanism of vernalization. It put forward two main theories. One is hypothesis of phasic development, another one hypothesis of hormonal involvement. First one, hypothesis of phasic development. This was proved by Lysenko, and he explained that annual seed plant consists of two phases. So annual seed plants are showing the two phases. One is the thermostage, in which vegetative phase. What is the vegetative phase? Plants which are producing stem, leaf, root and branches is known as vegetative phase, requiring low temperature and suitable moisture. Moisture means ஈரப்பதம். Okay. The second phase is photostage, which requires high temperature for synthesis of florigen, is a floral hormone. It's a very important 1 mark question. The plants which are producing the hormone is known as florigen. This florigen only induced for flowering. That means flowers are produced with the help of hormone secreted inside the plant, is known as florigen. The name itself, the answer is there, florigen. Okay, so The annual seed plants consist of two phases, thermostage and photostage. Thermostage means they are producing the vegetative phase in a low temperature with suitable moisture. In the next phase, photostage, they require high temperature for synthesis of flowering hormone, that is florigen. Second one, hypothesis of hormonal involvement. It was proved by Purvis in the year 1961. A formation of a substance A, that is X or A, from the precursor, that means forefather or runner or ancestor, it is converted into another form, B form, after chilling. Chilling means if you are placing the plant at a low temperature, that is 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, the A form is converted into B form. But the newly formed B substance is unstable. So, at the suitable temperature, the B is converted into stable compound D called Vernalization. So, what will happen? A formation of substance A from the precursor or ancestor is converted into B after placing the low temperature or chilling. B form is unstable. So at a suitable temperature, the B is converted into D, which is stable compound known as Vernalization. So this Vernalization is afterwards converted into form F, that is florigen. What is a florigen? A hormone which is responsible for producing flowers. Okay. So this florigen induces flower formation. Dear students, see, the A form is converted into B, which is unstable, converted into stable form of D, known as vernalization, but some stages are missing between B and D. That is, when you are placing the plant in the high temperature, plant means that is B form of a plant at high temperature, it is converted into C and devernalization processes occur. So that is the different process of vernalization. It's very, very important. 5-mark question. Explain the different hypotheses of vernalization. Another important 3-mark question. Write the techniques of vernalization. That means what all the steps which is used for vernalization process is known as techniques of vernalization. It's another important 3-mark and 5-mark question. For that, what we have to do? First, we have to soak the seed in water. First step. Then second step, it will be allowed to germinate. What is germination? விதை முளைத்தல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, that is said to be germination at 10 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius. Then the third stage, it will be transferred to the low temperature, that is 3 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius for few days, that is up to 30 days. So after this treatment of germinated seeds are allowed to dry is the next stage, and then sown into the soil. Sown விதைய ஊன்றது soil மண்ணில். The plant will show quick flowering when compared to the untreated controlled plant. So this is the vernalization and the flowering process. It's a very much important identification diagram. They'll give the diagram and they'll ask the question. Write the name of the diagram See, this is the leafy region. The leafy region which are having the ancestor is known as precursor. The precursor which is modified into A. Again A is converted into B form which is unstable. Directly converted into D forming the vernaline. So the vernaline afterwards converted into or producing for florigen the hormone at low temperature. At the time of vernalization process, we are placing the plant in a high temperature. Devernalization, that is C, occurs in the plants is known as vernalization. So after the formation of florigen, it will be transferred to the tip of the leaf and produce the flower at the tip is known as vernalization and flowering. Dear students, another important 2 mark question is devernalization. It's very simple answer. Reverse effect of vernalization. That means opposite effect of vernalization is called devernalization. The next topic is practical application of vernalization is the important 3 mark question. Vernalization process shorten the vegetative period and make the flowers to producing earlier. Then it increases the cold resistant plants. It increases the fungal resistant plant so that this vernalization process is used in the plant breeding applications. So this is said to be practical applications of vernalization. Dear students, up to this we have seen what is vernalization. The low temperature is 0 degree Celsius to 5 degree Celsius. This was proposed by T.D. Lysenko. They are proving 2 hypotheses. Then techniques of vernalization, that is steps involved in the vernalization process. Then devernalization, that is reverse effect of vernalization. And also we have seen practical applications of vernalization. Now the next topic is stress physiology. So plants which are showing different environmental stresses such as water deficit, there is no proper absorption of water, drought condition, there is a dry condition, cold, heat, salinity and air pollution. So different environmental stresses are water deficit, drought, cold, heat, salinity and air pollution. So the study of functioning plants under adverse environmental condition is called stress physiology. That means how the plants which are showing the functional activities in a different environmental stresses is known as stress physiology is the important 2 mark question. What is stress physiology? The study of functioning of a plants under adverse environmental condition. So adverse means different environmental condition or which cause problem in the plants is known as adverse condition is known as stress physiology. The term first used by Jacob Levitt, biological stress, and related to the plants, and according to him, stress is any change in environmental condition that might adversely change the growth and development of a plant. It's a basic one, isn't it? That means any environmental changes affecting the environment means that changes is also make changes in growth and development of a plant. That is known as stress physiology. See the flow chart which are showing the classification of stress physiology. Important 3-mark question. Draw a flow chart of stress physiology. Environmental stress. In environment, two factor is there, biotic and abiotic. Biotic again divided into allelopathy and pathogenicity. Abiotic, which is responsible for atmosphere and adaptic factor. Adaptic factor which is divided into two, water and salts. Atmospheric factor divided into three types, light, temperature and air pollution. Dear students, plants which are facing the stress is called strain. One more question. The reaction of a plant facing stress is called strain. For example, if a normal plant growing under a favorable light condition is subjected to the light intensity, the photosynthesis is reduced. Dear students, we already studied in the regular classes. The concentration of light is also affecting the photosynthesis. High concentration and low concentration is also affected. Moderate concentration of light intensity only increases the photosynthesis. So that's why when you are subjected to the low light intensity, the photosynthesis is affected. So that this low light intensity is known as stress and the reduction of photosynthesis is known as strain. Now we all know the difference. That means the external factor which cause stress is known as stress and the rate of photosynthesis is reduced is known as strain. Some kinds of biological strain is also there. It is divided into two types. One is elastic biological strain and plastic biological strain. If the reaction of plant function is temporary and it returns into original position is called elastic biological strain. So elastic means what is that one? If you are taking the rubber band and we are stretching the rubber band and release it, is once again it will be comes into the original position, isn't it? Likewise, the reaction of a plant function is temporary due to environmental stress. And once again, they are come into the original state is known as elastic biological strain. Example, temporary wilting. So wilting means leaves which are falling from the plant is known as wilting. So most of the time, mature leaves are fall off from the leaves. That is known as temporary wilting. Sometimes the reaction of a plant function is permanent and the function of a plant is not come into the original position is called a plastic biological strain. Dear students, 3-mark question. Differentiate between elastic and plastic biological strain. Elastic means they are retaining their original function. Plastic means they do not return their original function or normal state. For elastic biological strain. The example is temporary wilting. Plastic biological strain, example, permanent wilting. At the same time, some plants get adapted to a stress condition and also they are not affected by stress. Such plant are called as stress resistant or stress tolerant plant. Is the important 2 mark question. That means some plants they are well adapted to the stress condition and they are not affected by any kind of environmental stress is known as stress resistant or stress tolerant plant. Example, mangrove plant. At the same time, some plants they cannot face the stress so that the entire plant body is comes into the dormant stage, that is resting stage, ஓய்வு எடுத்துக்கும், like sleeping in human beings and animals. If the plants unable to meet out the stress condition in the environment, the entire plant comes into the dormant stage to escape from the stress condition. They are called stress enduring plants. Another important 2 mark question. First one says stress resistant or stress tolerant. Second one, stress enduring plants. To meet out the problem, they are modified into another shape to escape from the stress condition. Another one, ephemeral plants. It's a xerophytic plants which are showing the short-lived desert plant which completing their life cycle during the seasonal rains before the onset of dry season. These ephemeral plants are called stress escapers. Dear students, ephemeral plants are desert plant. In the desert, there is no sufficient amount of water. So plants which can able to withstand in the desert condition, the plants which are completing their life cycle whenever it gets the water from the rains, that means seasonal rains. At the time only they are producing vegetative leaves, producing flowers and fruit and completing their life cycle. That type of plants are known as stress escapers. It's another important 2 mark question. So stress resistant, stress enduring and stress escapers. Dear students, now we are going to see the classification of stress. It is divided into 2 types, biotic and abiotic. First, we are going to see the biotic stress. Biotic stress means a stress which is caused by living organism. Okay, such as virus, bacteria, fungi, parasite, insects, weeds, அப்படின்னா களைச்செடி, and competing plants which are present in the same environment. At the same time, biotic environmental stress is also caused by human activities, that is cutting herbs and trees, twigs for fodders, that means food for animals, for fuel purpose and agriculture purpose. So these biotic stress are caused by bacteria, fungi and nematode which is already present in the environment, that is in the soil, are called potential biotic stress. This biotic stress is divided into different types. First one is the Alilopathy. Describe the various biological stress is the important 5-mark question. First, we are going to see Alilopathy. An organism producing one or more biochemical substance that induce the germination, growth and reproduction of other organism is known as allelopathy. What is allelopathy? Is important. 2 more question. So the biochemicals which is responsible for allelopathy is known as allelochemicals. If the allelochemicals are showing the positive character means they are positive allelopathics, or showing the negative character means they are known as detrimental or negative allelopathic. So these biochemicals are or allelochemicals are obtained from the leaf after they are leaching on the ground and also from the root. The allelopathy is the Greek word means allelon, each other, and pathos means to suffer. The term allelopathy was first coined by Ernst Molisch in the year 1937. Is important. 1 more question. This effect may occur with weeds on crop, kalichedi, and vice versa. Dear students, see the diagram which are showing the different types of allelopathy, positive and negative allelopathy. In the soil, they contains different allelochemicals. These allelochemicals which are showing the growth, development and reproductive process in the plants. If they are showing the positive character means it is positive allelopathy, and the growth, development, reproduction and everything is normal in the plant. See the diagram. First 2 diagrams which are showing the positive characters of allelopathy. But see the third diagram, they are not showing the allelopathic process. So it is a negative thought. So the growth development is very much reduced. The plant is look like very short. That is said to be retarded growth. That means reduced in growth. So best example of allelopathic plant is black walnut. Jugulans nigram is the important 1 more question. Write the example of allelopathy. The allelochemicals which is from the jugulan is black walnut is juglone. It is a respiratory inhibitor. And some of the Solanaceae family members such as tomato, capsicum and eggplant are susceptible to juglone. So with the help of the juglone only, these plants are survive in the particular environment. That is tomato, capsicum and eggplant. Eggplant means what is that one? Brinjal. So these plants are when exposed to the allelochemicals, they are showing symptoms such as wilting, chlorosis and death. Chlorosis means removal of chlorophyll pigment in the leafy region is known as chlorosis, or destroying the chlorophyll pigment in the leaf is known as chlorosis. So this is said to be allelopathy movement in plants. Is a 3-mark question. Write a short notes on what is allelopathy. Write a short notes on allelopathy. The some other example of allelopathy are tree of heaven is known as Ailanthus alisimia, is the recent addition of allelopathy process. Ailanthine is a chemical, allochemical extracted from the root of Ailanthus, which act as a potent herbicide. In sorghum plant, the allelochemical is known as sorgolone. It is found in the root exudates of most sorghum species. The root exudation, that means from the root region itself, this allilochemical sorgolone is releases outside from the maize plant. It stops the growth of some wheat plant, such as Chenopodium album is the important one mark question. The maize plant or sorghum species which inhibit the growth of wheat plant by allelopathic process named as dash Chenopodium album and Amaranthus retroflexus. The oat plant is also having the allilochemical Avena fatua. The seed of the oat which are exudate the allilochemical which affects the germination of wheat seedling. So those are all the different example of allilochemicals. Dear students, they'll ask the 3-mark question. Write a short notes on different allilochemicals with the example. Dear students, up to this we have seen what is biotic stress. The first type of biotic stress is allelopathy. What is allelopathy? What are allilochemicals? The different plants which are producing allilochemicals to protect the plant from the environmental stress condition in this video. Remaining we will see in the next video class. God bless you. All the best, children.